here from Carey Island, also known as Pulau Carey, here in Selangor, which is off the coast of Kuala Lumpur, here in Malaysia. We're here today with Grand Platypus Open number 99. A very special edition that we have today because, oh boy, tis the second last Grand Platypus Open of 2023, and what better way to kick off the end than having a little bit of an extended show match between the two players who have really come in this year as newcomers, not to the scene, but to the tournament itself, and really established themselves. It's a best of 7 between Nice and Honmono. I am with you today, your host, Light. Wait. No, I'm not Light. I am today your host, Yaku of the Zaku, and with me today is El Guardian del Parque Festivus que no le tema a la oscuridad, Light _VIP. How we doing, Light?
It's great to be back, Yaku. It's great to be back here with our second last Grand Platypus Open of the year, 99. That's a lot of GPOs, that's a lot of platypus, and I'm ready for it, as you mentioned. Both these players have been facing off many times here in the finals of GPO, even in last week's finals of STC. They even played earlier today in KSL. They just keep facing off against each other.
Yeah, it's his destiny. And of course, we're going to be kicking off our match here on Radzit Station. We're over here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom left. We have our red Terran player coming down from the land of Korea, but also Japan. We have, representing Hype 1, Honmono.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the best player in all of Taiwan, the Blue Protoss, representing Starlight's Twinkle. It is Nice.
And they just keep facing, and they don't stop facing each other. It's like matching up against the exact same ladder opponent over and over and over again, and wondering, is nobody else awake at this point?
Nobody is awake. Nobody is safe. If you're in the chat, very quickly, predictions are open. Predictions are open in the chat. You can place your bets on who you think will win this best of 7. Predictions open. There we go. So again, if you're curious, if you're interested, exclamation mark B in the chat. Only 2 signups today, unfortunately, but this is not the first time we've had 2 signups. I don't know if you remember, but early on, I want to say, like,
in the day.
Yeah, like GPO 9, maybe 12 at most, we had a very similar setting, also in December, also at the end of a year,
yeah,
where it was just Demi and just a
also with a Protoss player.
True. True.
There we go. Yeah, it feels like it has to happen every once in a while, and I think it is pretty fitting. You know, it is really cool, of course, to see the players who are the most active in this particular tournament facing each other in a little bit of a longer series, and especially players like Nikes and Honmono, who, like you kind of mentioned at the start of the broadcast, aren't just active in Grand Platypus Open. They play in Sparkling Tuna Cups, they play in Korean Star League, KSL, they even sign up very, very consistently in ESL Open Cups, whether it's ESL Asia or ESL NA. And somehow, this, no matter how they seed it, whether they base it off of EPT points, OSC points, random seeding, they just have to face each other.
They have to. It's a bit of a rivalry that's been forming between these two players, and they do go back and forth. There have been weeks where Nice has been the champion. There have been weeks where Honmono comes out on top instead. Again, it has been very back and forth, and I'm more than excited to see how this all pans out. Now, I know that you weren't necessarily here earlier today covering KSL, but earlier today, we had a best-of-3 win all the way to the ace match between these two, and every single game, Honmono went for a 2-base all-in. Because that's just how he do.
That's the Honmono I know and love.
Yeah, pull the boys every game, Bobby, every game.
Yep, that is the Honmono that I remember, that I choose to remember in my head. Now, of course, whether those two... You mentioned that it went all the way to the ace match, so that's 3 games in a row where Hanmono 2-base all-in nice. At this point, I know it's been a couple of hours, but at this point, you gotta feel... You gotta expect Nice will be a bit more prepared for that if it does come his way. So, yeah, I'm interested just to see what Hanmono... If Hanmono decides to vary that up, you know, even if he does 2-base all-in 7 games in a row here, it's got to be different variations of 2-base all-in, right?
100%, especially because, quickly touching on earlier today in KSL, even though it was a 2-base all-in 3 games in a row, it was a different variation. It was a different kind of way to go about it every time from Hanmono. Even here, he's going for a second starport.
That is not at all something I was expecting. Was that something that he threw out earlier this morning? I can't imagine it was.
No, not at all.
There we go.
Okay, so a couple of things. Leading into this, we are on Radisson Station. Of course, a very macro-oriented map. It is very easy to establish a third base, but we can see that Hanmono is going for this. Looks like almost a TBT all-in. If you remember, there's like the special TBT build where he goes for like double stop Viking into Liberator. So it looks to be very similar to that. Oracles do get a revelation here on the main army. We do spot it coming ahead of time, and Nice is going to try and meet this in the middle of the map.
Yeah, very good setup here with the Adepts. Hanmono, ooh, that's got it with the medevac, but is a little bit too slow to get away from the Shades. Thankfully, the Cyclones and the tanks are here to provide some backup. Oracles go down. Tank is still alive, but so do most of the Marines. But most of Hanmono's Marines go down, so that's a huge loss in DPS, a huge loss in buffer for these more high-tech factory units.
Yeah, there's only factory units left. Most of the Marines went down, as you mentioned, but we also killed all the Adepts. We reset the Oracle count as well. Shield battery just now on the way. Nice, he is in some trouble here because Hanmono, he is committed. He's not turning back around. He is getting a third CC behind this. Bear that in mind, but he's still here knocking down the front door.
Yeah, there are a couple of Phoenixes out here, but with these Cyclones and now with the Viking coming in to join things as well, these Phoenixes are going to have a very tough time trying to CC these factory units.
Yeah, they are. We do focus on the Viking. The medevac barely does save one of those Cyclones as well. We will pick it up, just barely doesn't go down, by the way. The Cyclones, they can keep on pushing. We have another wave of Adepts on the way. That shield battery was targeted down. It did not finish.
Beautiful piece of juggling coming out here from Hanmono to keep that Cyclone alive, as you mentioned. But now that the medevac's gone, things are going to get a lot more tricky. Hanmono getting aggroed a little bit, chasing down these 3 Adepts, and that's exactly what Nice wants.
Oh, exactly. So he's just trying to buy some time, but Hanmono is just rallying everything across the map. Again, he's making 3 Vikings at a time, and they're helping, I guess, specifically against the Stargate opener. Yeah, he's just zoning away these Phoenixes.
Yeah, they can never get on top of these tanks to try to CC them. Now the Mule has been dropped to add in a little bit of repair as well. I love the just single Liberator here. Just in case there's a switch into Adepts or anything like that, there's no way they're going to be able to shade on top of the tank without them going down one after another. 2 tanks are extremely difficult to deal with when you only have Stalkers and Phoenixes like this, and that Cyclone is still alive throughout all of this.
Oh, it is barely still alive. The tanks as well. The Liberator survived all that as well, just barely on any HP. Going for the Mule, going for the repair. Adepts, they try to come back home. SCVs were going down across the map. The economy is looking pretty similar to each other. And remember, we have a free pocket base here. So Nice, he still has a good economy, but he still just cannot deal with this army.
That he really cannot. But I think this is the most telling thing about this game so far. Like, Hanmono has made a 3rd CC.
He has. That's also a 3rd starport on the way.
Well, 1 starport per CC. I'm loving this. I'm loving where this is going. A lot of Vikings out right now, and they will be able to make short work of these Phoenixes. And once they do that, they can land and make even shorter work of all of these Stalkers. Stalkers are mechanical units, fun fact, and they melt very, very quickly to Vikings. Vikings, rather, just absolutely shred through any mechanical unit.
Yeah, exactly. Vikings, they go to town here on these Stalkers. They take down the Void Ray as well. Looks like the pocket base, sorry, the natural base has been broken. Hanmono is pushing on forward here. He didn't kill too many workers. A lot of the probes did evacuate, but we will have lost control of this space. And now Hanmono, he can just wedge himself in between both these remaining bases.
Exactly, especially with this Liberator. These poor probes just want to transfer over. They just want to mine from that pocket base. but they cannot.
They cannot touch this mineral line. Another Void Ray comes out to help support. We do focus on one of the tanks. We get both tanks. They finally go down. Nice. Can he clean this up here as we're still rallying across the map with SCVs even as well?
Yeah, he's recognized how important the repairs are right now. He has pretty much gone, I don't want to say he's gone entirely mech. Mostly he's gone entirely starport, but technically that's still going entirely mech. Making a handful of tanks at a time just to make sure he is able to reestablish his foothold, which I always appreciate. Tanks are the absolute most important anchor unit you can get right now if you're Han Mono.
They really are. Liberator finally goes down. It's going to be pure Viking and a single tank here. We do have a couple of Marines rallying across the map as well. Whatever we can muster. But again, it does seem like Han Mono is running out of steam a little bit. Can he be dealt with as we do focus on the final tank?
Yeah, this is worrisome now. Soccer's starting to converge on top of the Vikings, and a lot of them do go down. It looks like this push is finally going to be dealt with.
Ooh, and now we have to take a moment here to take stock of what's been going on here at the units lost tab. That was 15 Vikings, 4 tanks, a good chunk of Marines. We did kill a mineral line worth of probes. That was 15 workers going down the base as well. And Han Mono was able to expand behind this. He does currently have a better economy.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily what we were expecting, but Han Mono is not 2 base all in this time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as you mentioned, he has a much better economy. We'll see if he transitions into a 4th base. He has a little bit of an opening here to get a little bit more greedy if he wanted to. I say greedy. It's a 4th base. It's not that greedy. But for Han Mono standards, that's basically stuffing your pockets in your shirt and your pants, everything, swallowing money.
Oh,
that's the level of greed you're getting.
There you go. We got that 4th CC on the way, as you mentioned. There's a fusion core as well. I imagine that's for Liberator range, but if we go for some tech labs, we could go for some BC production. Liberators are going to be forced back, and just to quickly touch on this, it is going to be mech. It is just mass factory, mass starport, so just for the time being, just tank Viking Liberator. It's insane the quality of the army that's being amassed here. No upgrades, but again, that's a lot of firepower.
It absolutely is. The quality of this army is very sophisticated, but on top of that, the sheer I'm impressed with the sheer quantity of tanks and Vikings he's been able to produce throughout this entire time.
That's a lot of tanks, that's a lot of Vikings. Meanwhile, the Stalkers, they blink into the pocket base. We do delay the 4th CC. We get 7 SCVs as well. We pick up a Liberator just barely towards the end. And more importantly, we get eyes on the army composition. Nice is now fully aware of that kind of mech, as he also went for the hallucination scout into the main.
Yeah, that was the one move by Nice here, and I think has really brought him back into this game. He is far behind when it comes to the supply, especially in the army supply, which, again, against a mech Terran player, that is terrifying. But now at least he is ahead when it comes to the worker supply, and he is able to get himself back economically, starting with that 4th Nexus.
Oh yeah, he does have his 4th base on location. He's going for some robos behind this as well, and he's going to need charge lots and immortals. That's going to be the key units here to try to keep up with the mass tank count. Mech isn't really too much of a thing in this matchup. We see it every now and then, but we also see time and time again mech armies crumble to zealots, immortals, and archons.
Without a doubt. That one clip will always be playing in my mind. I don't remember if it was just a ladder stream or if it was in a tournament, but that one clip where TY was set up brilliantly with a full tank siege line, Liberators, everything. And I think it was, I want to say Showtime or potentially Parting at this point, just rolled in with a handful of Archons and Immortals and just... that line evaporated.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense as well, because TY, even in current era of StarCraft, still plays mech whenever he can against Protoss. Like, he does whip it out, and it's a similar story. It's brutal to see, but we'll see if Han Mono is far enough ahead. That's the big difference here, is that playing mech when you have a better economy is brutal here, just because that's typically an advantage that the opponent has instead.
Yeah, it's super important to be a bit more economical when you're going mech like this, and why it was super key for Han Mono to not only be making that 3rd base initially, but to also take out at least 1 base of Nice with that initial push. Beautiful takedown of that Warp Prism. No more sustainability and no more micro ability with this army aside from just blinks. sentry goes down as well, so that's no force fields. This is a very slow army of Honmono, so anything Nice can really do to force him to slow down and to, make him siege up in a position that isn't right on top of his face will be advantageous, while he buys time to get more zealots like so.
Oh, and he's going to be committing charges. Done, by the way. We're diving on top of this army, and we get on top of the tanks as well. We get a full surround with the stalkers from behind, and it looks like these tanks are going to be going down.
Yeah, Liberators, unfortunately, just a little bit too late to siege up. We're not able to cover these tanks, and the Stalkers are able to clean up everything else. This was an extremely costly loss here for Honmono. He was at about 90 to 100 army supply, and now he has dropped down to, well, for a brief second there, he dropped to 60, but yeah, his economy is still looking pretty good. He is slowly able to rebuild, but still, that battle report is not pretty for the Terran player.
It really isn't. And this goes along the lines of what you just mentioned about how efficient a Protoss army can be, despite how massive a mech army really can kind of accumulate to here. As Nice, that was a beautiful fight as well, right? As you were mentioning, we were able to slow down the army, pick away at it, force a siege, get a full surround as well before the tanks were able to get within range of anything. And Honmono has lost a lot of momentum. He is still a little bit ahead when it comes to the army supply, and oh, this Hellion counterattack has a lot of potential. Ooh. The probes!
Blue Flame finished up a little while ago, and this is an entirely dead line of probes. They tried to evacuate, but they're evacuating into the Hellions. No!
Not like this. 12, 14 probes go down and counting here, and just like that, Honmono is able to recover here at least a little bit economically. Oh my god, the probes, they come back too soon!
No! Oh. The Blue Flame Hellions just took out another 6 probes on that wasn't even a retreat. That was just a main art into another base. 22 probes have fallen for a total of 39 throughout this entire game. Nice, he's still ahead, but he doesn't have that massive worker advantage that he once had. Honmono, with mules, can slowly catch back up. He's gonna lose even more.
Yeah, he's going to lose even more. Here's Hellions, they broke up, and you know what? The kill count still has not been reset. 33 probes going down and counting, and they're lighting up once again. The Hellions going for the dive, and the problem here, because of the map as well, as we get up to 37 plus probe kills, is that there's no way to break this. Radis's station is very unique in such a way where the polygon base is very safe and sound. We have plenty of stack defense here to cover against drop play, and there is one entry point into 4 bases, and look how heavily fortified it is.
Absolutely. Look at how many tanks there are. You never make this many tanks in a TVP normally. In fact, if you're playing Bio, you typically stop producing tanks after a certain point, but not if you're playing mech, and especially not if you're playing Honmono mech.
Oh, exactly.
Honorable mech is what I think you should call it.
The most honorable. He's going to be going mass tank back at home. He's got Hellions to harass towards the north. He has Liberators to harass towards the south. Looks like we do get eyes on at least the the Liberators. So we do focus down a couple of them before the zones get thrown down. But these Hellions, they are slipping in between the bases, and I'm not too sure if Nice has much in position to defend.
That he's got real good SimCity, at least when it comes to the main base, not when it comes to the third base. Has a couple of cannons, but that's not really gonna slow down these Hellions. Another mineral line gets absolutely roasted. Honmono, only 5 workers down at this point, and 63 workers. You're not gonna be making too many more. You're not gonna be making too many more at this point.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a solid economy here. 3 base economy, essentially, but he should soon be looking to expand. A 5th CC is already done. Still not on location, but we're working towards it here. As Honmono, I'm sure he's focusing on maxing out first. I'm sure he wants to just max out, reach that 200 supply, then think about expanding. Meanwhile, Nice going for some Dark Templar here. I'm a little bit surprised we don't have a Skytoss transition yet. Skytoss would be ideal here for the Protoss, especially considering how many bases we're going to be working with. But for now, we're sticking with a ground army instead.
Yeah, definitely. Vikings are good, but they're not that good. At least not without spellcasters to back them up, No ghosts, obviously, because Honmono is playing mech, but no ravens either, which is an interesting choice.
Yeah, so you go for a massive blink here into the pocket base. Tank is going to be going down. There's one tank behind this mass repair, keeping it alive a little bit longer, but it will be focused down. The planetary finishes up just in time, and Honmono goes for a massive unsiege, just sending everything across the map.
Yeah, he is sending it now. He knows that this is a huge commitment of supply here from Nice. Nice is maxed out, so he can't actually warp in anything back at home. He can, of course, always warp in, and he has a few Stalkers here to help out.
Yeah, he gets a couple of Liberators for free. Pretty good pickups here. Meanwhile, across the map, he's camping the production. We have Dark Templar, Zealot, Stalkers just picking off whatever units he can. But the main army cannot be slowed down because Homeowner is looking to siege up. And again, that is a lot of tanks getting into the natural.
Yeah, I highly doubt this main army is going to get slowed down. But with how slow it's moving, we might not need to.
Yeah, we may not even need to siege. Boys have been pulled here. We're throwing down turrets on the front lines. It looks like, okay, we do have still a couple of E-bays. We can throw down a couple more turrets here as we're getting into the main base.
Indeed, we are. Blink DTs will try to evacuate away. This is probably the best way for Nice to defend is with these ETs because CCs are being floated right now. There's a very limited amount of scans available.
Up! One CC goes down, one orbital left, one orbital remaining here for Honmono, which means he will not have another scan.
That he will not. There are still a couple of DTs out on the map, but the Dark Shrine has been dealt with. No scans! No scans!
No
scans and no E-bays, no turrets, no detection, no nothing!
And May, this one DT is the MVP, and we do have one turret all the way back here behind the tanks we wanted to pull back to it. The E-base trying to be rebuilt. No, it doesn't finish. Oh my god.
Oh, but the friendly fire, though, on top of the SCVs was enough to deal with that Dark Templar. Only 3 DTs left, and they are on the other side of the map. Turrets are being thrown down now.
Turrets are being thrown down. We can see Nice is racing back home. Nice is up in supply. Going to be losing another base, but Nice, he's expanding everywhere. Taking every single base he can on the map. Throwing down his production. We have 1 CC remaining. It is not an orbital, but we are looking to take control of the pocket base of Nice.
Yeah, and Hamada has a bit of a bank left, so he can still convert it into an orbital. I'll tell you, Nice may be up in supply, but this is a very high-tech army of Honmono. Those are only gateway units that Nice has got, and, you know, as powerful as Zealots are, if they run into a choke point, they're going to get shredded by Hellbats, by Liberators, by even Siege Tanks.
Yeah, that's the problem here, is that Nice can take a fight, but he cannot push into this. He cannot push into a sieged-up defensive line. Just like we saw previously, his ideal is to fight out in the open. It's to catch the army out in the open and ideally get a surround. But Homeowner is not going to give him that kind of satisfaction, so we could end up in a situation where Homeowner takes this base, starts mining, and then takes this base and this base, and he just like turtles on these in this corner of the map, and we can get a longer game, right?
Well, we'll see, because, you know, the main base is completely out of minerals. Nice has maybe 16 mineral patches left, split between 2 bases, whereas Nice, you know, he's expanded to fresh bases across the map, so doubt it's gonna go on for too much longer.
Exactly, and Homeowner is actually pushing out. He wants to try to take down this 4th base of Nice. Nice has an opportunity to push in, bearing in mind as well that he has a bank, so Nice, if he wanted to, he could engage and then rebuild and rematch from there. He does have gateways available here to warp in some Zealots. He has to be careful to throw away too much, but he can engage.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, if he just maxes out on Zealots, should be able to deal with the ground army, maybe a couple of Stalkers just to deal with the Liberators, but once the Liberators are gone, what can those Vikings do other than just die to Zealots?
Yeah, exactly. As we drag Homeowner back into the pocket base as well, 2 SCVs go down. He is getting this base back up and running here. As you mentioned before, not too many minerals remaining. We will eventually run out. I mean, already these mineral patches, they are running out, and yeah, we're now down to 3 here in that pocket, sorry, in that natural base.
Yeah, it's not too ideal here for Homeowner, but hey, it's a really good place to siege up. He is going to be taking out 1 more base of Nice. This is a base with a lot of production on it, but I don't think those tanks are really going to be able to deal with most of those gateways. Meanwhile, a huge backstab here with these Zealots. Very good move to Warp Prism earlier on. Nice comes in, folding in the front line. GG is called, and Nice will take a very, very explosive game number 1. That's what happens when Rad isn't vetoed.
There you go. GG, well played. Nice. In the midst of the base trade here, was able to come out on top, able to take down all the mining bases of Honmono. And again, this mech style of Honmono just a little bit too slow to get across the map, too slow to really get too much headway. And yeah, I mean, the base trade was maybe his only chance to recover. I mean, he was the one that kind of went for it, and yeah, it did not pay off in the end. GG though, that was a solid game one, and a very unique one as well on Radisson Station.
I'm hoping that sets the mood for the rest of the series. Yes, oh boy. We have a best 7 on our hands, and these players have got to be sick of playing against each other at this point.
Yeah, I mean, this was unique, but I doubt we're going to be seeing more mech out of Honmono, at least on some of these smaller maps. It takes something special to really whip that out, and we saw that even with Honmono having the better economy, the larger army, mech is still a really difficult thing to accomplish against Protoss.
Yeah, very much so. I think things probably went Things probably went about as well as it could have here for Honmono, especially at the start of the game, but we saw just how quickly that pendulum swung towards Nice's favor after he was able to take that fight in the open, get rid of those tanks, and really put a stop to the momentum of that Honmono was building towards.
Exactly. You know, suddenly everything was stripped away from him and in favor of the Protoss. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Hecate, we have the red Terran player from the land of South Korea, living in the land of Japan, representing Team Hyper 1. It is Honmono.
And over here in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner, we of course have our blue Protoss player coming up from the land of Taiwan. Seem to be a lot of those there. Representing Starlight Twinkle, we have Nice. I'm somewhat reminded of... Here's some background or insider info, chat. Before the stream today, I was telling Light about how I got very, very close to laddering Radisson Station, but opted not to. And Light was telling me, yeah, no, Rad Station, yeah, it's better for the Terran player in TVZ, but worse for the Terran player in TVP.
Crikey.
Crikey.
Did I turn into Ryan? Is that what happened?
All right.
So, oh my
That's just
God.
what you sound like.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you. Some of this is where you don't really hear your own voice because you're speaking, but like, you know, it's, yeah.
Yeah. And then that's why it's a huge shock when you hear it recorded back to you.
It is. As we get into this though, as we get into a very different map, Hecate, we have Honmono going for a 3-Rax, by the way. Sorry, I said 3-Rax. There we go. Honmono had a 3rd Rax here building, then he cancelled it, going for a 2-Rax instead. This is 2-Rax gasless, by the way, into a ninja base.
Question mark?
Wait,
Cancels the second
He's going 3CC.
You'll love to see it. This is brilliant from Honmono. Looking at Nice's vision, he was able to scout 2 Raxes, wasn't able to scout the other Rax that was pseudo-proxied and then later cancelled, but Nice, he is, there we go, already checking with his probe, going around seeing if there's any proxy. He is anticipating aggression coming his way.
So this is I like this and I don't at the same time. So it's very greedy.
I hate
a lot of mind games. A lot of mind games out of Honmono. Yeah, a lot of mind games out of Honmono are canceling all of his production, trying to force an overreaction, and he's forcing out a lot of gateways. To be fair, the problem is it's a Sentry opener.
Shield
That's the
batteries
problem
as well.
Sentry opener, which means we're going for hallucination across the map. We're getting into the main base, and Nice is going to see everything. He gets in, the Marines do not stop the scouts, and we get eyes on the CC. The lack of Raxes, we don't see the ninja base yet, but we could head in that direction.
Yeah, not quite yet for the time being. Nice's Phoenix or Haluked Phoenix, sorry, will just, chill out here. Will potentially recognize that this is Han Mono that he's facing, and he's known for trying to do mind games like this. Or he might still overreact a little bit. There we go. He is checking on the minimap with his Stalker, just checking in, making sure he sees everything, but he's about to scout the ninja base. This is... the mind games have failed.
Yeah, he comes in and he does get eyes on the CC. Behind this, he's going for a third Nexus, so Nice, he's transitioning very nicely. We do have 3 gates. Twilight Council, the tech has been delayed. I will say that. The tech is delayed here for Nice because he was being defensive, and that may just be enough to get Homono in a decent position. I just don't know if he can protect his CC.
There's absolutely no way he can. It's way too far away from the rest of his bases. Forced to pick up, he loses one of his mules. It's going to lose another SCV, another couple of SCVs for the looks of things.
Oh yeah, 2 SCVs go down alongside that mule. We get a scout as well into the main base, getting eyes on the 3-1-1 setup. 3 Raxes, 1 factory, 1 starport. Homeowner is floating back home, and Nice is in a pretty good position here, other than the fact that his blink is very much so delayed.
Yeah. But you know what? Cancels each other out, because Homono is technically getting stim on the right time? It's not too far delayed.
Yeah, it's not too far delayed here. He's getting up to 5 Raxes as well. I was about to say, yo, this looks like a 2-base all-in setup, except he does have that 3rd CC. So that's like really throwing me off a little bit here with what Homono is up to. And again, likewise, because of his delayed production, he can't expand anytime soon. Like, we need tanks, we need stim, we need a presence to actually be able to establish this position.
You know what? Where we're going, we don't need to expand anytime soon.
I guess.
And he's already expanded.
Yeah.
So,
true.
Technically.
Oh my god.
A little bit of an earlier Ghost Academy coming out from Hanmono. I can't imagine ghosts are going to be part of this push, but we'll see. Hanmono has surprised us once earlier today. He surprised us a second time earlier today, and a 3rd time, and a 4th time, and a 5th time, and a 6th, all within the same hour, so we'll see.
We shall see. I mean, we did see earlier today, Homeowner did go 2-base with a Ghost all-in, actually, and it actually worked really well just because Nice had happened to have gone for Charger Archon, and Ghost just, the EMPs were amazing. They were beautiful from Homeowner. But this time it's Blink. It is gateway heavy, don't get me wrong, like there's no Disruptors, there's no Colossus or anything like that, but we'll see if we can defend. Force Wheel's looking good, and there's no Medivacs to keep these units alive.
Yeah, half the army did get cut off, and half the army did fall. Medevac's now out, which gives Hamono a little bit more sustainability here, but he's lost a lot of DPS, and that army of Nice is only getting larger and larger. Still no tanks in position to really zone away any of the stalkers.
Yeah, exactly. No tanks. Medivacs coming out just as we speak. The bunker goes down. Widowmine shot is going to be avoided for the most part. Good blinks out of Nice. There's one more Widowmine behind this. Good force field to pick off a couple of units. And we go straight for that mineral line, straight for the SCVs. Up.
And once again, going to be cutting off the bio army here of Han Mono. Really good pickoffs here. Slowly but surely from Nice. Nice being very deliberate about this. Doesn't want to move into a choke point. Doesn't want to be immediately surrounded by bio. Ghost is out, but we'll see what he can do.
Oh, we get an EMP on the sentries, but the force field is going to be thrown down. Zelce coming to reinforce, and it looks like Nice. He's snowballing out of control. He gets on top of the army as well. 21 SCVs have gone down. Even if Nice falls back now, he's already done more than enough damage. He's going for the kill, the CC!
And that was game number 2. Coming out here on Hecate. GG, nicely done here for Nice to had a little bit of a safe reaction to what turned out to be a mind game, but he was vigilant, he was diligent with his scouting, and once he realized who he was up against, was able to just respond in time. That was not a build that I think any Terran player should do.
You didn't even have to end that sentence. That was not a build. True.
That was not a build.
Oh my god, that was wild what Homer was up to. And I appreciate the mind games, but the reality is that it does set you behind if it gets punished, if it gets scouted. And again, really good scouting from Nice to be able to just shut that down and to be able to clean that up as well. And now with that, we do have Nice with a 2-0 lead. It's still best of 7, so plenty of games are ahead of us. So do not worry there. We still have plenty more StarCraft to come. And I imagine we're going to be shifting gears here as we load into Golden Aura. We've gone from some of the larger maps to now some of the smaller maps.
Indeed. We're gonna have even more aggression coming up from Honmono.
I'm not expecting any kind of hidden bases. I'm not expecting many mind games. I think the problem is though that because we're this is a rematch from something that happened earlier today, and Homono did beat Nice by the way in KSL.
There we go.
But he was heavily reliant on 2-base all-ins, and because of that, Nice, you mentioned, like, is going to be more wary of that, is going to be more vigilant, and reverting to that, I don't know if that's going to find as much success the second time around.
I'm rooting for it to have success the second time around here. Yeah, I'm just rooting for a longer series here coming down. I hope it's not going to be a complete sweep, but we shall see as we continue our series now on to Golden Aura, where we're here at the top left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top left. We have our red Terran player coming down from the land of Japan, representing the land of Korea, as well as Team Hyper 1, as well as all of his waifus. Cheering on for him back home, we have Honmono.
I like to think he's got his waifu pillars lined up behind him, like on his bed, and they're cheering for him. They're cheering for him.
Pom-poms, yeah.
They are. That's
taped to...
he did tape them to their hands, yes. In the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Taiwanese Protoss player representing Starlight Twinkle, leading the series 2-0. It is Nice.
Getting eBay blocked.
Okay, and I love this reaction out of Nice. Okay, so to talk about what happened earlier as the SCV does go down, in KSL, Homono eBay blocked every single game, and every single game Nice was forced to expand at an unnatural location. But this time, very quick to react, he shuts down the eBay. He will expand where he wants to.
Indeed. Nice. He's older now, he's wiser. Can't get him with the same trick.
Exactly. He learns, he adapts. He's a pro gamer. He knows how to play StarCraft, Bob. It's crazy.
Oh. I thought people who knew how to play StarCraft went extinct.
They all left us. They all left us when patience disappeared. It's merge.
We lost our patience.
We did. And behind this, Homono is going for a much more economic opener. He goes for a Rax Expand. CC on the high ground just to be safe, but a CC nonetheless.
Yeah, and it's only one CC this time.
True. It's in the main.
No, there we go. Yeah, just on the 4th base location, nothing like that. 2-on-1 gonna be the opening of choice here from Honmono. Does lend itself well to early game pushes, so could still be that 2-base all in, but it is a pretty versatile opening nonetheless here for in a TVP.
Oh yeah, 100% here. It's a little more standard as well from Honmono, and we do see Nice trying to get a read on what is going on. He does commit to the shade. With that, he gains extra vision, and he does see the CC building on the high ground.
Yeah, we'll be able to confirm that things are looking relatively normal for the time being, so yeah, nothing too much to worry about back home. He should know that he can tech up, he can get his up. If he opens with a Twilight Council, he can get his upgrade, but he's actually opening with a Robo, a Twilightless Robo.
Yeah, it's going to be a robo opener here from Nice. With this, he's going into 3 gateways. He's going to be aggressive with this. You can be defensive if we started Immortal production, but instead we're going straight into the Prism, which means he can be assertive. It's less active as, say, Blink, for example, as you're aware. You know, with the Prism, we can Blink defensively, but not really offensively. But regardless, Nice wants to try to punish the more economic opener of Honmono.
Yeah, and we'll see what he can get done, because that's still a lot of Marines. He's got mobility, he's got the ability to avoid the Marines thanks to his Warp Prism, but yeah, it's a lot of Marines.
It is. Remember, they are vanilla Marines, though. They do not have stim, but as you mentioned, we do have to respect them. Shay's going to be threatening that main base. Stalkers have arrived, and you can see Honmono being bullied back here, and we take control of the low ground. We can take control of the CC.
Yeah, once again, that lack of any factory unit to really provide an anchor or to even zone out the rest of Protoss army does mean that Honmono is forced to take a position like this, is unable to really push out, do anything.
Ooh.
Now that the medevac is here, Honmono is feeling a little bit more confident to push out, though.
Meanwhile, the NFs shade into the mineral line. They shade into the main base, denying so much mining. Good juggling so far at a Nice, keeping his Stalkers alive and chipping away at these Marines. Quite a lot of them have been going down. 3 SCVs full for the time being, and Honmono, he just can't mine.
That he cannot, not from his natural, not from his main. As the Adepts once again commit to the shade, but they commit right on top of these Marines, so that's one fewer thing for Honmono to worry about. Stim's done.
Stim is done. We dive on top of the Stalkers. 1 Stalker goes down, and with that, we have to respect it. We have to back off. Ooh, a 2nd Stalker goes down. Can we dive on top of the Prism? Regardless, these are going to be some better trades for Honmono.
Absolutely. Just about every single Stalker has been dealt with. Still a couple left in this Warp Prism, and the Warp Prism itself is something that Honmono is going to have to keep at the back of his mind, but he has dealt with the worst of it. The worst of it is over.
Exactly, and now Honmono can go back to mining in his main, in his natural base as well. He can just get things rolling here on at least a 2-base setup. Likewise, Nice, he backs off, and again, it was a robo opener, which means we can go straight into a Robotics Bay, straight into Colossus production.
Yeah, still no Twilight Council yet here from Nice. So we'll see how this ends up panning out. Typically, I mean, I guess you don't need the Twilight Council this quickly if you're planning to go for Colossus, which is still very, very common in PBT, but if we were going Disruptors, there is no reason to delay something like Blink this long.
Yeah, as you see, just a bit of harassment in the main base, and I mean, again, with a robo opener, we want to rush into Colossi as quickly as we can. And there it is, asking you shall receive. We have the Twilight Council on the way. We could go for either Charge or Blink. They both kind of have their own uses here. I'm sure we want to go into both, but we'll see which one we go for first as we continue to harass in the main base and we get a couple more SCVs.
Just like so. Nice little use of the Warp Prism and juggling on the Warp Prism as well here. Honmono's had enough of this, though, because those are Vikings.
Yeah, Vikings are on the way. They will shut down this Warp Prism harass. We scan to check for a 3rd base, and we see that there is none yet. And likewise, I'm also a little bit curious here. Nice, he's delaying his 3rd by quite a bit, going for a big gateway explosion. That is going to be 8 gateways.
Yeah, huge investment when it comes to the production. He has also gotten Warp Prism speed, so it looks like Nice just wants to be more aggressive this game.
Yeah, he wants to try.
This is a big risk.
It really is, especially with the Vikings out. Remember that the Vikings, they are going to be at home and looking to be in position here for the eventual drop play. As you mentioned, though, Nice delaying his 3rd base by so long here in favor of the massive production, and we'll see if it's going to pay off here for Nice or it's going to hurt him in the end, because that is a very late 3rd from the Protoss.
Absolutely, as Vikings are now out. Oy. Thankfully for Nice, he did research Warp Prism speed, so he will be able to evade these Vikings for the time being, but he revealed his hand earlier on. He revealed that he has been opting for Colossus, and Honmono's going to be able to prepare for that. 3rd base about to land.
Yeah.
I feel almost cheated so far this game, like, Kate. I feel almost cheated because we've had 3 games so far and none of them with 2 base all-ins.
Yeah, it's been quirky styles, don't get me wrong, but not the hyper-aggressive nature of Honmono that we are used to seeing. What I will say, though, is he has a faster 3rd, right? This is a big kind of big contention for Nice is just how delayed his third base was here. We were talking about it earlier, and now as a result, Homeowner has a better economy, but Nice has a larger army, and we'll see if Nice can break his opponent. We do have 2 tanks on the high ground, but do we have enough to protect them?
Well, we shall see. We have a decent bio spread. Warpism is about to land a backline with those Zealots. Vikings weren't quite in position to deal with that. Archons are now out, and they're pushing the bio into a corner. Vikings managed to deal a lot of damage on this Colossus, wasn't quite able to take it out, which is going to be absolutely huge. There wasn't enough defenses back home here for Honmono. GG. Nice takes game number 3. Brings us to match point.
GG, well played. Honmono getting bled out far too many Marines earlier. He was not quite ready for an attack. He wasn't set up with any bunkers or any side defense or any SimCity. The tanks were exposed and they went down almost instantly. And with the death of those tanks, there was no way for Honmono to survive the eventual attack. And yeah, GG, very well done here. Nice will be on match point.
Yeah, I was definitely not expecting going into the series to see Nice being the player who wanted to kind of dictate the pace of the games, to the one to come out with these more, I'm not sure if you call it active styles, but, you know, styles that are less reliant on reacting to what your Terran opponent is throwing your way, and more of just, this is what I'm going to do. As long as I execute it, this should work.
Yeah, and I do think a lot of this is just because of what occurred earlier today, just because Homeowner was kind of hyper aggressive, and I don't think Nice was too happy about the outcome of that series. He's like, no. It's like, man, I'm gonna shut you down first, okay? I'm gonna show you what real aggression is. And yeah, so far, really good performances here from Nice, really good adaptations as well, and Homeowner has been struggling to really put a dent into it.
Yeah, he really has, and he's gotten close a couple of times, don't get us wrong. And game number 1 was probably the best game that his best performance so far in the series, and that really came down to wire. That last game as well, I really do think that if just a few things were tightened up, you know, if a couple of Vikings were in position at the right time, then we would still be in that game, and we would be seeing a lot more of a back and forth right now. But we would be seeing more of a back and forth in the games themselves, but so far, yeah, Nice is on match point.
Yeah.
And Honmono has been unable to take a map so far.
Yeah, Nice has been...
This is where it all changes, though.
Nice has been on fire. He's looking to get his revenge here, and so far he is getting it. As you mentioned, Homeowner, can he fight back? Can he bounce back in this series? He needs to, here and now.
Indeed he does. Here we have it. Spawning on to Oceanborn, where we're here in the top left-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way. In the top left, we have our red Terran player coming down from the land of Japan, but also representing the land of Korea, as well as his team Hyper One, as well as all of his waifus lined up behind him. One of them actually wrapped up around his neck like a scarf. We have Honmono.
I don't think that's the thing I don't think you don't wear them like clothes, Bobby. That's not. What are you doing to your waifus?
I mean, they're pillows though, right? So, but I guess they're not neck pillows.
Not in Homeowner's mind. They're not okay. They're okay. Yeah. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the best player in all of Taiwan, leading the series 3-0, 1 game away from winning it all. Representing Starlight Twinkle, it is Nice.
Why has nobody designed a neck pillow that's a waifu? They can just bring on the plane with you.
That's got to be a thing, right? That's 100%, right?
It's probably a thing, but if it's not,
it should.
I'm gonna make it and make millions.
You can make it like the wife is like hugging you from behind or something, like hugging your neck.
Oh, that's a good idea. Like massaging you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
a
go.
lot of things you can do with that.
Oh my god.
We'll sell that on the CranKy Ducklings merch store. No.
We will not sell that. We could.
We do not want to corrupt our merch store.
Aye. Yeah, we do have actually a very different opener here out of Honmono. For the first time, Honmono is going to be going for a double gas opener, so it's going to be a Rax into Factory here. So a much more aggressive start from our Red Terran.
Yeah, it's actually going to be a Rax expand this time, coming out from Honmono. Double Reaper, I imagine it's going to be the good old classic Double Reaper single Hellion initial scouting force that will give you eyes on the entirety of the Protoss base, but also going to be able to pick off a probe here and there. I say that, and I feel like a complete fool as this is the Cyclone patch. So, Hellions, what are those?
True. All about the Cyclones, at least early on here. So the initial Cyclone's going to be on the way. We do have the second the second Rax as well. I love that Nice hides in the tall grass here, avoiding any additional Reaper shots. So good use of the terrain, hiding that Adept there in that patch, as he's going for a Stargate opener here, looking to go into Oracles and eventually, potentially, Phoenixes.
Yeah, I believe... No, he went for Stargate opening in game number 1, if I'm not mistaken. So, and not technically the first time that he is going for a Stargate opener, but potentially the first time that we're actually going to see something normal-ish coming out here with that Stargate opener.
Yeah, again, it should be looking for something a little bit more sane, we should say, as the Oracles are going to be moving out. They're going to be harassing and also scouting the main base. It is going to be a 3-1 setup here, and this is something that I'm a lot more accustomed to. With the delay of the starport, we're going to be building up a very hefty Marine count. We're rushing into Stim very early on as well, and this is going to be a very hefty push. This doesn't have to be a 2-base all-in, but this can, and ideally should, lead into a 2-base all-in.
Should be seeing the boys get pulled pretty soon. That's my takeaway from
yeah,
from that analysis there. You know?
Probably, yeah, 100%. But until then, we're going to be diving in this army a little bit ahead of time. The Marines are not quite ready with Stim, but oh my god, it's a lot of damage already dealt to one of those Oracles.
Yeah, these Cyclones definitely coming in clutch when it comes to defending against the Oracles. The Adepts are able to sneak into the main base. Nice gets full eyes on Honmono's base, his army composition, and the fact that it's 3-1 without a starport.
Yeah, exactly. So good scouting so far here from Nice. Again, he's just trying to pick away at the army and pick up whatever he can. He got a handful of Marines, he got a Reaper as well, and Honmono is getting ready for his eventual push. eBay has been thrown now for +1, and again, we're still waiting for Stim to kick in. We're still waiting to mass up all those tanks.
Indeed, we are. Still no starport, no third base on the horizon nor on anywhere. But we do have an eBay coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, for those eventual upgrades. At the same time, I'm loving the Immortal production here from Nice. He's going into a faster Robo, a delayed Twilight Council, and this is going to be leading into a robotic space. So Phoenix Colossus is going to be on the way, and meanwhile, asking you shall receive, we got Honmono. He is pulling the boys.
There we go. Yeah, it turns out that, okay, he is still getting +1, but it seems like the main point of that eBay is to give him turret support. He knows he cannot rely solely on Cyclones, solely on Marines. When it is a Stargate opener like this. Nice denial on one of those SCVs from triggering the Chrono Boost, but now it's been triggered, and yeah, most of, actually the entirety of Honmono's army is still alive.
Yeah, we're breaking on through as well. There's barely anything on the ground. The tanks, they're pushing forward, breaking into the dash waste. The army is heavily overstimmed. We are running out of HP here. Bear that in mind. The boys are being pulled.
Yeah, both boys are being pulled. So we're getting some worker-on-worker action coming out right now. One of these Immortals has been dealt with. 2, 3 tanks still alive. 1 still alive. But there's nothing left on the ground here for Nice. GG is called. And Honmono fights back with a vengeance. It is not going to be a 4-0.
GG, well played. This is the Honmono that we've been waiting for. It's like, Papi, but where's the 2-base all-in? That's what you do. That's how you win. And hey, we see it here in full force on Oceanborn as well. Honmono, as you mentioned, fighting back.
Indeed, he is. Fighting back hard.
And yeah, with that, he is going to be putting that point on the board. Again, nice. Unfortunately, he was able to get the eyes on the all-in coming. That is true, but again, he was a little bit wasteful early on, trying to trade with the army. Wasn't really worth it in the end, and he just didn't have enough on the ground to deal with it. He barely had any use to defend, and was so heavily reliant on things like the stasis trap to go off and to try to catch that army.
Yeah, but you know what? It was caught by a single SCV. Mono, he's got eyes like a phoenix coming down here. Sees them all.
Do phoenixes have good eyesight?
I don't remember.
Are
I might be mixing metaphors.
Okay. Oh good, oh good. As we're going to be getting into our next game here. And again, Homeowner has a little bit of momentum. As a reminder, Nice only needs one game, but now we're loading into some of these smaller maps. Oceanborn, short rush distance by ground. Hardlead, also short rush distance by ground.
Yeah, now that all the longer, larger macro maps are out of the way, Mono's in his element. This is why they wanted to just get him out of the way right from the start.
Exactly. Playing on hard mode here, Homeowner, he's only got one life left, but it's a life that he's going to live to the fullest here with the non-stop all-ins. At least that's what I'm assuming, but we'll see how he approaches our next game.
Indeed, we shall, as we continue our series, our best of 7 series here on Hard Lead. Over here in the top left-hand corner, map spawning all the way. In the top left-hand corner, we of course have our red Terran player coming out from the land of Japan, but also the land of Korea. We have representing Hyper One Esports. I don't think the esports is officially part of it, but it might as well be at this point. It's an esports organization. We have our most honorable, tis Hon Mono.
And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Taiwanese Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Starlight Twinkle. It is Nice. Still one game away from winning this entire thing here, winning the entire tournament. But Homeowner is not going down without a fight.
That he is not. This is a Han Mono that's a bit more familiar to us, going for eBay blocks like this. This time it is getting a little bit more health on top of it before actually getting scouted by Nice. So Nice maybe forced to take another unnatural natural this time.
Oh yeah, he may be forced into that here as the eBay has plenty of progression going on here. Too much HP to deal with, which means Nice is forced to expand elsewhere, and this is exactly what Homeowner has wanted for quite some time.
There we go. That's all he needed. That's all he wanted. All he needs. That's all he was asking for, you know? Which, of course, makes any early game pushes that much more effective, because, you know, you are a bit more isolated from the rest of your bases. In general, the third bases, they're just much more vulnerable than the natural base, especially when you're up against a Terran player who is going to be pushing with Marines and tanks, I imagine.
Yeah, exactly. So Nice is going to have a really awkward time here. He should be going for a Stargate opener. That's typically how you want to defend these two base setups here, just because they're so far away from each other. But we'll see what kind of tech we do commit to. As for now, Nice is just trying to get a bit of a presence out on the map. Is going to be moving out with that Adept. Homeowner behind this, going for a Rax into factory, a delayed CC to get into the Cyclone production.
That's a reactor on the factory.
Yeah.
That's 2 cyclones at a time.
Yeah.
This is, Yep. This is the Cyclone patch.
So we should be getting Cyclones and Hellions. That should be the unit composition that we're going to be working with initially. First Cyclone has been spotted and confirmed by the Adept. Meanwhile, behind this, we'll see how this works here. It is not a Stargate Open, it's going to be a Robo instead. With this, we can get early Immortal production. This is true. But the Immortals are also going to be very immobile, defending both the main base at the natural and the natural base. So we'll see if Homeowner can abuse that. We'll see if he can pull Nice apart.
Yeah, it is going to be tricky regardless with these early game factory units, or these very mobile factory units as well. Adept will confirm the move out here of these Cyclones.
I do confirm the
and
move
will definitely give Nice plenty of time to prepare.
Oh yeah, he's preparing here. Meanwhile, the Cyclones are going to be dealing with the gateway units. The Hellions ideally want to head into a mineral line, but ahead of time we do engage. We shut down one of those Cyclones already. Up.
The second one not quite taken out. Now it will be. It's locked on immediately. Cyclones, they lock on to your opponent, but you know what? Your opponent can lock on to you.
There we go. Nice, taking a very proactive style to this. He sees your Cyclone and Hellion production. He's in your face, and now Homono doesn't really have much at home to defend.
Nothing at all. It's really trying to scramble for a bunker. Still scrambling for a second bunker on the high ground. The first two Marines pop out. These Hellions, they have a lot of work to do to take out probes in order to really make up for how many losses. Homono's gonna sustain. Stim does not go down.
Yes, Stim, big repair here. We're going to be able to keep the tech lab alive. At the same time, the tank has arrived and Nice is forced out of the main base. The upgrades will continue. We do delay that natural. We do force it to lift up, but at the same time, the Hellions rested every single worker here at the third base, or at the natural of Nice.
Technically both, I suppose, yeah.
True.
Yeah, all in all, it does seem like Homono has come out as a little bit better, but we'll see how long that lasts. Nice, he's not happy about how this game has gone so far. He's not happy about the fact that he's lost that many probes. He wants to reciprocate.
Yeah, and we're not done, by the way, because as he's resaturating this natural base, we do see the Hellions still being very active here in between both the main and that natural. Looks like they will be able to find another probe kill here in the main. And both players are hurting. Both players are essentially stuck on one base economy.
Pretty much. Both of them have the capacity to build more workers, but they're never actually going to be... Those workers are never actually going to be able to do anything.
Exactly. So you can see Homeowner trying to expand, but the army's in position. We deny the base once again. So one base versus one base. The Hellions at the same time, they get back in. They pick off another one of those workers.
Yeah, two of them do go down, though, and two Hellions with a shield battery here. That's going to be the end of them. Homono is well aware of this, so he will back away with the single Hellion remaining, and yeah, all of his attention right now is just going to it's just going to be focused on being able to expand, but he is completely cut off. Two tanks get taken out basically for free. Warp Prism goes down thanks to the really good starter stepping coming out here from Homono. All in all, it's a trade once again, but yeah, it's a trade once again, but I feel like this time Homono comes out of it a little bit worse. Just getting his tank count reset alone is absolutely huge here for Nice. And on top of that, he is now down when it comes to his worker count. He is a little bit delayed when it comes to the tech. He hasn't been able to get these Hellions into the main base of Nice to confirm the fact that Nice this time is going for yet another Robo Bay.
There we go. The Bay is done. Colossus production well underway as well. I mean, Homono, he's aware of the Robo Opener, so the logical conclusion should be a Bay and Colossus, but we don't really know that for certain. It could be Disruptors. It could be a hard switch into Charge Lots even, so the Hellion has to confirm this as it does dip between the bases. Does confirm the lack of expansion, but does get eyes on the Colossus.
There we go. Homono has a couple of options on his hands right now to try to deal with this.
You know the correct option, right?
Yep. I was gonna say, this could give you an opportunity to take a third base, but that's not what you want to do, is it?
It's not.
It's something you can do, but is it really in your soul what you want to do?
Yeah, as we do catch the observer, nice pickoff here, and I think we all are aware of the proclivity here of Homemono pulling the boys and going for a big two-base all-in. It's what won him the last game, and it could work here, especially against a Protoss player that's still on two-base economy. This third base is so delayed here for Nice once again, and we'll see if he gets punished for it, because here we go. We're going to be pushing out across the map. We have 3 tanks, we have Marines, we have Marauders, we have a couple of Liberators in production. Not quite medevacs, which is a little bit surprising to me.
Yeah, we have a medevac, but here we go. I guess when you're pulling the boys, everything's dying. You don't want to waste your money on medevacs.
True. Medevacs, they don't shoot. They heal, but that's not going to be good enough here. Liberators on the way. Vikings as well. We are committed. We are all in, but we're running into Colossus.
We're running Colossus that do have Thermaland, so yeah, definitely very, very tricky right now for Homemono to try to engage into this.
Really is. The Vikings are putting in a bit of work here, but we pull back to this shield battery. There's one shield battery here at the natural base location. No Nexus here at the pocket. Oh, sorry, at the actual natural base though. So no shield battery, no overcharge, and we're being zoned away from the shield battery.
Yeah, shield battery will get taken out, and yeah, there's really no way that Nice could really push into this, is there? He is going to be stuck in that natural base location. This third base is completely forfeit. Yeah. So are all of these probes.
Exactly. Nice. He gets out position. He's stuck here protecting nothing. Every single worker is going to be going down the base as well. Behind this Homemono, he's making SCVs. He's still producing from his own bases as well. And Nice, he just can't engage.
Yeah, Homemono has honestly done enough that if he wanted to, he could go back home and just continue to mine. But, he already decided this is going to be a two-base all-in. So, yeah, he's all in, and he is going to take this game. GG is called, and Homemono going to be fighting back once again with another absolutely brutal two-base all-in. Brilliant move here. Just cut the army, just completely zone the army away from any fortifications and any shield batteries.
GG, well played. Exactly, just really good positioning from Homemono, and yeah, to just force the army away from the safe zone, from the bases, from the shield battery, from the overcharge, and was able to just pick Nice apart. And Homemono, he's got some momentum going on here. Things are looking bleak initially. He was down 3-0, but he really is fighting back.
Yeah, he is. He was a little bit. He is fighting back, and he's fighting back by returning to his roots. First 3 games, much more experimental coming up from Homemono, and he got close, but close does not count when it comes to victories here in the maps in StarCraft 2. So turn to his roots a little bit in game number 4 and game number 5, and it's bringing lots of success.
A lot more success here, and we'll see how much success he can find in our next map. I'm a little bit concerned for Homemono. We're going to be loading into Alkyone. We're done with the smaller maps. We're going to be loading into one of the larger maps instead. Known for its 4-base setup. There's a gold base as well. But there's maybe proxy potential. So we'll see what Homemono whips out here.
Yeah, we shall see. Definitely plenty to be had. A lot of potential coming out here on game number 6, which of course is going to be taking place here on a Cyclone over here in the top right hand corner of the map. Starting all the way in the top right, we have a blue Protoss player coming out from the land of Taiwan. We have representing Starlight Twinkle. At one point, a member of the Taiwanese Triad, but I think at this point, pretty much the sole member left, the head of the Triad. We have Nice.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player living in the land of Japan, representing Team Hyper 1. Fighting back, looking to force the ace match. He is so close to reaching that final game, that final form. It is Homemono.
he is. He is. And he is being pretty cheeky with this SCV. Now, in all likelihood, it probably is going to be another eBay block, but in my mind, it's going to be something a little bit spicier as he goes for the eBay block. All right, okay, great. Yeah.
I mean, every game that he's gone for the eBay block, he's won. You know, it's just math at this point. It's happening.
Yeah. That's science. Can't explain that.
And once again, he's forcing the unnatural natural out of Nice, forced to expand in a more exposed location. And we saw how much damage those Hellions dealt in that last game. They just, really made sure that Nice was never able to get too much of an economic advantage. And that's only a piece of the puzzle here, you know. We saw that Nice was proactive, but if these Cyclones can get across the map, then things can just really snowball in favor of Honmono. As he is going for a Rax expand this time, not a faster factory.
Yeah, a lot more of an economical opening coming out from Honmono this time. I imagine that is due to the map. It, like you mentioned, is a much larger map compared to the previous two that we've been playing on. It's a map that has a lot of quirks, a lot of curves. Takes a while for an army to get from one end to the other.
It does. So, yeah, Honmono basically just going for a different adaptation here. Still an eBay block, yes, but because he delayed the factory, he's not going for like the reactored Cyclones into Hellions. He's not being hyper aggressive like he was before. He's going to be calming things down, focusing on his economy. Likewise, Nice is also going for a different opener as well.
That is, going to be a Twilight opener, I believe, for the first time in this series. I could be wrong. I believe game number 2 might have been a Twilight Council opener as well, but we'll see what he's going to get done here with this Twilight.
Yeah, I imagine it should be Blink, but we have seen some players meddle with like Dark Shrine openers or a faster charge or something along those lines, but here we see Nice going for Blink instead.
Yeah, nice and standard, nice and safe, nice and...
Nice.
Haas.
Everything's looking by the book here from our Protoss player. Meanwhile, Honmono behind this going for his 3-1 setup once again. Very common here that he's been going for this. This, historically so far in this series, has been leading into 2 base all-ins. We'll see if that's going to be the case here, though, as his first couple units have arrived, but there's a shield battery, there are units in position.
Yeah. Honmono's not quite going to be able to break into that, not quite going to be able to break into the main either, thanks to the SimCity of Nice. But he's going to try anyway. Having these Hellions out on the map does give him map presence. It allows him to apply a little bit of pressure. 3 Hellions are just about enough to start one-shotting probes. 4th one arrives, and yeah, this is not where you want to fight Nice.
It is not, as 6 workers do go down. I could have sworn I put in WSS Game Hard, but
I'm pretty sure I saw Game Hard as well.
Yeah,
when we loaded into the lobby, but
yeah,
I guess not.
I guess not.
Something got lost in the something got lost on the way, but yeah, it's fine. We can count.
A little bit,
yeah. Don't ask us to go too high.
Yeah, from here we get 7 probe kills. Pretty good damage, especially considering the Hellions are still alive and they're coming back in for a second wave, for a second round, and they will kill some probes.
That's another 2 probes going down, 3 probes going down. I lied, I can't actually count. I had to look at the I had to look at the units lost tab.
You're like, I'm blind, right? I can't see what died. I don't know. Oh god. It's okay, Yaku. It's okay. It's fine. So 10 workers in total. Pretty good damage so far. Behind us, we have +1 attack on the way. Stim as well. And it looks like we should be looking to hit a timing with Stim once again. With 3 tanks as well. That's going to be a pretty hefty amount of tanks.
Yeah, especially with a more stalker-heavy composition this early on. Robo Bay is about to finish up charges on the way, but there are no immortals, and if this hits before charge finishes up, or if any of the Colossus pop out, this is going to be very, very potent. Boys are pulled once more, and Nice is forced on the back foot.
Yeah, this is the signature kind of 3-1, a 2-base all-in from Honmono while we have +1 in production. We do see at the same time Hellions, they tried to dip in, but they did get shut down. Stalkers are doing whatever damage they can get done here. Blink has completed, but we barely have any Stalkers. We're only picking up a couple of SCVs.
Yeah, it's very important that the Stalkers do target down the SCVs like this. When you're going for a no starport build such as this, it's very important you don't want to be throwing away your stims. Honmono stims now, and it may just be enough. Marines are on top of the Colossus, but they actually get zoned away by the probes. Probes are getting on top of the tanks. Colossus finally goes down, and there's a handful of bio units left, but it looks like it's not going to be enough. Honmono took out a lot of probes, took out a high-tech unit, but also lost a lot of his own SCVs. Had his tank count reset, so yeah, I wasn't counting there. Looking at the units lost count, 24 probes went down in total, so that's 14 in that assault, and 15 SCVs have gone down. So all in all, we're back to where we were at the start.
I kind of want to favor Honmono's position right now, just because once again, Nice doesn't have a third base. It's 2-base versus 2-base. Honmono does have the better economy with mules. He's only down a handful of SCVs, and behind this, the next attack is going to have +1. So the way this works is we had the first 2-base all in from Honmono. We're going to have a second. There's going to be a second wave that is amassing, and Nice, he needs to do his best here to rebuild his army, to muster up a force. Otherwise, Honmono can still snowball out of control.
And nobody expects a second wave. We've got one all-in, but what about the second all-in, you know?
Yeah, here come the boys
As the
once
boys
again.
are pulled once again, you'll love to see it. This time, though, they will be met by 2 Colossus, and there we go, Nice even being very cheeky with his Colossus, juggling them back and forth, just trying to throw a little bit of damage here and there on top of the bio army. Again, without any medevacs, there's no way to heal up these bio units. Every swipe and every volley from Colossus is going to be permanently hurting them.
It is, but that Colossus is so low. He took like 3 or 4 tank shots to the face, and that Colossus barely survived. It is so vulnerable at the moment. We have turrets on the way as well to zone away that prism. Second Immortal actually is coming out, not Colossus. So one Colossus and Immortal production here. The Immortals can help focus down the tanks, but again, that Colossus is still very low.
It very much is. I'm loving this. Just throwing down a couple of E-bays to zone away the army and to provide a little bit of a choke point here. Bit of a coffee maneuver. Pylon goes down, and that Immortal is not gonna pop. That Robo facility has been completely depowered. Everything that you see right now on the map here for Nice, all he has is all he's got. He is not gonna be able to produce any more units for the time being, but Honmono's production is in a little bit of trouble as well.
Yeah, here we go. Nice is going to be dropping across the map, going to be camping the production, the main base of Honmono. At the same time, Honmono, he takes down the second base of Nice. Nice is trying to re-expand, trying to set up some shield batteries, but the army size here, Honmono is just snowballing out of control. His tanks are getting within range of the final production buildings here of Nice.
Absolutely. Without the Warp Prism here to really juggle and to help micro the Colossus, there's no way Nice can really push into that, is there?
Yeah, there is no way. As the Prism goes down as well, the Immortal as well, we have lost all of our harassing units. Now we are stuck with what we have left here. We have 1 Colossus, a handful of sentries, and a handful of Stalkers. It's not going to be enough. We're going to be recalling back home, and we're going to try and set up a surround, I guess.
Potentially. Dark Shrine is on the way, but still a long ways off. Still a massive army that Honmono has amassed. He's got 1-1. Up against the 0-0 of Nice here. That was a kill and not a cancel on that Nexus, by the way. So once again, a lot of lost minerals.
A lot of lost.
Honmono still has mining.
He does have mining in the main base. There are Stalkers across the map, though. The SCVs are being focused down, so this is a good amount of damage being dealt. But again, the size of the army of Honmono is what's really dangerous right now as we do turn back around. We focus on these Stalkers. Marines are getting picked up, but the army of Honmono, it's coming back home.
Yeah, I guess this isn't really a bad move here from Honmono. He's already knocked down Nice to only 1 base compared to the 2 bases that Honmono himself has. Sure, he's down when it comes to the worker count, but he's got mules, and more importantly, he has double base production, double worker production.
Exactly. You can see
He's
that
even
Nice.
throwing that. Yep.
Yeah, Nice is oversaturated here in his main base. He just doesn't, or barely has any mining going on to speak of.
Is that the only eBay that Homono has out on the map? No, it's not. Okay. I was worried there for a second that maybe the eBay got sniped by the initial move out here, but yeah, turrets are still able to be made. There's detection here for Homono, and there we have it. GG is called. Homono will be taking us all the way to match point. Was there ever any doubt that we weren't going to get a full 7-game series here? A little bit, not gonna lie. Just with how this series started, I was really worried we were gonna get a 4-0 here from Nice, but Homono, he's showing us why he is the most honorable. He's showing us why this is a rivalry between our two players, a Taiwanese Protoss player and our Korean/Japanese waifu master, I mean Terran player here, has not been one-sided in 2023 at all. We are getting ready to get into our ace match.
Here we go. Hung Mono, the waifu master. I love it.
We called him that.
There we go. But yeah, we are getting ready here for the ace match. As you mentioned, that's all I ever wanted. I always love to see ace matches between our players here. And it all comes down to this, to the final game, to the ace match. And we're going to be loading into another large map, but all-ins are not unheard of, and we've seen the same thing game after game after game. It's what works here for Honmono. Do ace all-ins. That's how we win, Papi. That's how we do.
Yeah. And outside Delta, not the longest rush distance. It's pretty straightforward. Doesn't curve around too much, but you know what? This is where we throw in a curveball. This is where we go 3 orbital before racks.
Oh, this is where the Terran dies, is what you're trying to say. Oh, no. We'll see. We'll see what Homono brings to the table here. We'll see if he can pull off the eBay block. This is something that he has been pretty successful with recently, these past couple of games. And Nice needs to stop this. Like, the reality is that because he's been forced to expand in these so awkward positions, that's why it's been so difficult to defend as well against all these all-ins.
Yeah, especially on site Delta, but we'll get into that as we finish up our intros here, where we are spawning on into... I don't know why I threw myself off. I feel like I've been throwing myself off. But anyway, we're going to be loading into Site Delta for our Game 7 ace match here between our two players. And spawning over here in the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom right, we have our red Terran player coming out from the land of Japan and also the land of Korea. And you know what? Also the land of wherever waifus are from. I'm trying to think of the name of an anime world, but they're all called like Earth or something lame like that. Transnistria. No, that's a real place. We are coming down into no, that's a real place. Tokyo. No, that's a real place. Kanto. No, that's a real place.
Oh god, what's it called?
Hokkaido. No, that's a real place. We're coming down here in the bottom right corner of the map with our red Terran player representing Hyper One, and you know what? Hyper One going crazy in the chat, watching him completely hung his way through. We have Hon Mono, our most honorable model.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Protoss player from land of Taiwan, actually able to expand here where he wants to on location. Representing Starlight Twinkle, it is Nice. I was thinking New Tokyo, Japan. That's it. That's what I was thinking.
There we go. No, that's a real place.
That's not... New Tokyo is not a real place. What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
I think that's, am I crazy? New Tokyo, that's the place in, Big Hero 6.
Cyberpunk? Big Hero 6.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. There you go.
Huh.
Have you seen Big Hero 6? Do you even know what I'm...
I have a vague memory of Big Hero 6.
Okay. God damn it. It's one of your movies. That's like the new generation Disney movie.
It did. Yeah.
Shaking my head. All right, let's go.
I think I saw the anime series.
There was an anime series?
Or a few episodes of the anime series, but I don't think I actually saw the movie.
There was an anime series?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait. Am I remembering correctly? I
we-
remember that was very specifically, that was a 2D series that was put out, and it was kind of jarring going from 3D to 2D. But I could be thinking of another Disney movie entirely.
I was gonna say, was it jarring if you say that you don't remember watching the 3D movie?
I remember seeing the trailers for it.
Okay, fair enough.
I remember seeing the memes.
Okay. As we are getting into our game here, this time a much more standard opener. As you mentioned, this time Nice is a much more standard location for his natural base. Ooh, Reaver does get one probe and does get a full scout as well. It is going to be a robo opener. Once again, a very safe opener out of Nice. This will allow for a faster Immortal and faster Colossus production, but my apologies, before going into the Bay, we're going into something else.
Completely different. That's going to be an Immortal coming out from that Robo facility, as that is going to be a Twilight Council first. No more Prism yet.
Yeah, so he's going to be prioritizing the Twilight Council before the Bay. This should be for Blink Stalkers, but we'll see if we commit into something crazy like Zealots instead. Meanwhile, Homono getting into a 3-1-1 setup, this time not delaying the starport for good reason.
That is, in fact, a Banshee. That is going to be popping out, typically, especially without, especially when there's no cloak coming out. This is specifically for a dedicated push. It's not going to be for harass or anything like that. No, Homono wants to make it across the map with his tanks, with his Marines, and with the Banshee. Ideally two, but you can still make this work with a single Banshee to just provide a little bit of extra cover for these tanks.
Yeah, so this is going to be a very different kind of 2-base all-in. Essentially, we have foregone stim. To afford the Banshee production and the starport, there is no stim this time, so his bio army is going to be that much weaker, but he will still have a good tank count, and as you mentioned, he will have those Banshees to help support.
That he will, and it's going to be especially useful against the High Templar that are going to be popping out. Maybe not so much against Archons, but
yeah, it's going to be Charged Lot Archon out of Nice. Also, the Observer did scout the build, and here we go. The 2-base all-in is upon us. Storm will not finish up in time. Nice has to deal with this here and now. Oh, the tank.
So far, the juggling has been decent. One tank goes down, which is definitely a massive wrench in the plans here of Homono. It just means that he has that much less zoning potential, that much less splash damage.
Yeah, I mean, losing a tank is huge. We're down to 2 tanks remaining here for Homono, and every tank is valuable. Remember, no stim, so the main DPS is going to be coming from the Banshees and the tanks.
Yeah, Marines are pretty much just here to provide a bit of a buffer. SCVs are here, and they are able to start providing their expertise when it comes to building. Bunkers are on the way. Very important catch here for Homono to scout that the Warp Prism is moving out.
Yeah, it looks like Nice is trying to set up a surround here with that Prism, with that backstab. Meanwhile, pylons are going down, shield batteries as well. Homono, he is gaining ground. He's slowly pushing forward with these tanks. The Immortals do catch some of these reinforcements, so Marines will not be able to actually establish themselves here, but the Banshees are going ham.
Indeed they are. There's just not enough anti-air at all to really deal with the Banshees. One Archon is now out. Battery overcharge has been popped. That's a lot of Marines, but they are stimless Marines, and they're not quite able to get on top of the Protoss army like you typically imagine Marines would be able to. Third Banshee is coming in to join things.
Yeah, the Banshee comes in. A second Immortal did go down. It looks like we catch another reinforcing Immortal as well. The Immortal count is being, the tank count is being thinned out. We have 1 tank remaining, but we break in.
Yeah, there's only 1 tank remaining, but there's basically nothing on the ground here for Nice. 2 Immortals, 1 Immortal will go down. That's the last of the tanks going down, and with that, that's a lot of the staying power of Hanmono gone, but he's still got plenty of DPS, especially with these Banshees. He needs to deal more damage, though, to make this worth it.
Yeah, it looks like the bunker is going to be burning down here due to the Immortal Fire. Nice has been losing a couple of workers, but only a handful. Can he hold on? Can he defend? Again, these Marines are trying to do their best here, but here come the reinforcements.
Yeah, only 3 Stalkers, though, and that is the extent of the anti-air. Only 2 Stalkers on the way. Nothing else shoots up other than these 2 Stalkers, but now there's only 1 Banshee remaining, and that is much more manageable here for Protoss.
Yeah, and it looks like Nice survives. He barely holds on. He shuts down the tanks, the Marines, the army gets cleaned up, and we hold on to our natural base. But at the same time, behind this, Homeowner has a better economy. He has a higher SCV count, and here we go. We're pulling the boys for Wave 2.
Nobody suspects, nobody expects second boy pull.
Yeah, the second wave here of a Terran as they have been pulled to repair these Banshees to commit to the second attack. This time, Stim is on the way here. Combat shields as well. We're getting some upgrades. We're mixing in a couple of Marauders as Marauders are in production. And we're coming in for that second attack. Shield battery has not been remade yet.
It has not, but that's a very beefy Protoss army. Not if they fight on open ground, I will admit, but still, there's a lot of beef in this army.
There he is. You can see that Nice. He wants to try to engage before the tanks can siege. Homeowner sees the army. He's backing off. He is going to be retreating. He's coming back to actually saturate his bases. And the game could settle from here. We could even try to throw down the third CC. I'm curious if a Homeowner wants to or if he's just going to be waiting for Stim and combat shields.
Yeah, well, regardless, I think this is the right choice for Hanmono to make, coming in to harass a little bit with his Banshees while he settles things back at home, regroups the rest of his army. He's actually getting into a Raven production right now, and you know, one way of really cutting down the beefiness and the tankiness of these Immortals is with a cheeky little anti-armor missile.
Yeah, the Ravens can add a lot here, a lot of complexity to the army of Hanmono. They also, in case it was like DTs as a follow-up, he would have mobile detection to deal with those Dark Templar as well. So he has options here. The Immortals are going for the tank on the low ground.
And they will be able to take it out. Nice little pickup here for Nice. Real good juggling coming out from our Taiwanese Protoss player.
Really good juggling here, and he is able to keep those Immortals alive. Storm is being chronoed as we speak. We'll have some splash damage. Once again, I'm very concerned with the lack of third base. Just once again, Nice is going to be behind in the economy here. He's going to be behind economically against Homeowner.
I mean, you say concerned, but really it's an understanding that our players have with each other. No third bases from this point forward.
I see. I mean, we do have the third base now on the way from Nice, but again, it is so heavily delayed, and when it comes to, you know, 2 base versus 2 base, like the Terran player is going to be ahead in that respect, so this is going to be a bit of a delayed transition, but to make up for that, that's a lot of Storms. That is 4 High Templar in this Prism, and we're going across the map. This is a risky move here from Nice.
Yeah, very risky move indeed. If a couple of Storms do blanket the mineral lines, then that's going to be, you know, the mining completely forfeit, but that's definitely a big if. We've got 2 Vikings out right now, and they are going to be patrolling outside the natural base. Not so much the main base. It's potentially a worry.
Here we go. We're going to be moving out. Big Storms here. Going to be connecting with the Marine Army. And we got to get the hell out of here as all the Vikings get a lot of damage done to that War Prism.
Yeah, but once again, no medevac here for Hanmono. Only 2 of them in production right now. 2 High Templar did go down in that attack, and yo, these Banshees still making things work. So, yeah, the push here for Hanmono is significantly weakened, but he is still getting damage done regardless. Hanmono's almost going to be double the worker count by the end of this Banshee harass.
Oh, exactly. And the Banshees, they get 10 worker kills here. Homeowner up to 50. Not even pulling the boys with this push, by the way. He doesn't need to. He's that much farther ahead. Third CC is done. Orbital is on the way. Ghost Academy on the way as well. Homeowner getting into a better position as we get into the mid-game.
He's evolved. No longer does he need to pull the boys when he pushes.
He has had enough here. The army is still looking very battered and bruised. It's still very overstimmed because of the storm earlier. So Nice can still take a fight, but he is moving out with part of his army, though. He's not quite in position to deal with this.
Yeah, these 2 Medevacs have a lot to deal with, and now it finally seems like Nice is going to be setting up for that initial surround.
Yeah, just waiting for more Zealot reinforcements to come in from behind. Looking for that 360 surround here on the army of Honmono. And Honmono, he has reinforcements on the way, but this army is still looking very vulnerable here. I'm sure Nice waiting for the Unsiege, waiting for the moment. He's going for it!
Yeah, they're still on siege right now, but the Bios aren't really in position to really protect these tanks. Huge storms going to be blanketing the entirety of the Bio army as the rest of the gateway units deal with the tanks.
Yeah, beautiful engage from Nice. The 360s around the storms as well. The tanks go completely cleaned up, and now Homono's in a lot of trouble. He's going for I thought he was going to try and go for a drop at the same time, but no, he has nothing to drop. He's racing back home. We have a bunker, but no more tanks.
None at all. He's got 4 medevacs, but not a whole lot to heal. He's got 1 ghost, which can definitely help out, especially against the chargelets and the archons, but he just doesn't have anywhere near enough to supply to split efficiently against this double-pronged attack coming out from Nice.
Yeah, we got Archons in the main base. We got Zealots as well. 20 SCVs go down. We should be able to clean this up. We do catch the Prism. We should be able to EMP these Archons as well. At the same time, though, Nice pushing into the natural base. We do have 1 tank on the ramp, but that bunker is going to fall when we get into the Mineral Line.
Yeah, the tank's definitely doing a lot to try to zone the army away from that main base. Anti-armor missile will fall. Hamono does force a little bit of a recall here, but that's a very hefty loss. Hamono was up 15 SCVs at the start of that push, but now he's down 13 workers versus the 49 that Nice has here.
Yeah.
I have a confession to make here, Light. I forgot to delete logos mod, so Nice is showing up as DNS on my thingy, and Hamono's showing up as Clem.
You're an animal, Faf. You're an animal. But here we go. We do have the Stalkers rocking up here as well. High Templar reinforcing to throw down those storms. So to gather up energy for those storms as well. Do we have any in this prison? We do. We do have 2 High Templar available, and we're looking to engage with the army. Homeowner, as we speak, though, establishing this third base. Can he recover if given time? He can, of course, but Nice. He's not taking this line down. Again, he's looking for those juicy connections.
Yeah, he knows that there's a lot of potential here in these storms. If he whiffs those storms, he is going to be behind a little bit. He is going to be playing at a disadvantage. Huge storms land on some very clumped up SCVs. 7 of them go down, and the rest of them are battered, bruised, and not quite broken.
One more storm would have been all we needed here. Medevac's doing everything they can to keep this alive. At the same time, Stalkers coming in from the south, getting even more SCV damage. Behind this, Nice is getting into Disruptor production. We have a second robot on the way for double Disruptor production as well. Nice, he is refining his army.
Indeed, he is. He's refining his army. He is making use of his advantage for the time being, even opting for a 4th base, knowing that his Terran opponent is going to be way behind.
Yeah, exactly. And here we go. The 4th base is on the way. Nice is going to be pushing out, meeting up with the army of Honmono. Honmono is going to have to respect this, going to have to back off. Behind this, he does have a decent defensive position, but it's only 1 tank and 1 lib. Like, siege-wise or defensive-wise, like, there's not really much here to hold on.
Yeah, definitely not. It's still a pretty tricky choke point to push into, especially if the Terran Bio army sets up a little bit of concave behind that choke, but we can see that Nice does not want to take any risks in that way. He is going to make sure that when he does push in, and he's pushing in very soon, he wants to be at his absolute best position.
Yeah,
down the upgrades, but there's still a lot this army can do.
So good, so far good EMPs, but here come the storms on top of the army as well, on top of almost everything that Terran has. Honmono is going to have a better concave though, and he's actually pushing through.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of room to really push back to here for Honmono, but you know what? Better concave, better upgrades, much better DPS will make absolutely short work of some of those extremely squishy gateway units. Very high-tech units went down as well. The Warp Prism, I believe, had a couple of High Templar in them when it got taken out. Now there's only 2 remaining here for Nice.
Yeah, that was 4 High Templar going down, 1 Disruptor, 3 Immortals, 3 Archons. As you mentioned, a very expensive loss for Nice, and suddenly Homeowner, he has momentum. He is oversaturated, but honestly, Homeowner, he's recovering in this game, and Nice is being punched a little bit for overextending. He's going to have to calm down. He's going to have to recoup his losses, and that will give Homeowner enough time he needs to recover.
Yeah, I was worried that we were going to see Honmonos hanging back a little bit too long here after that initial defensive victory, but these two Banshees somehow are still alive, and yeah, they're continuing to wreak a little bit of havoc here in the mineral lines of Nice. 5 more probes go down. Once again, Honmono is still behind economically, but he is nowhere near as far behind as he was earlier in this game.
Yeah, and look at the supplies. Look at the army supplies specifically here, with Homeowner going to be looking in a damn good position with his Marines, Marauders, Ghosts, Vikings as well as he breaks on through in a head-to-head fight. I want to favor him here. I don't think Nice has enough. I mean, to be fair, a lot of this will come down to how good or how bad the Novas are.
Yeah, it only takes one here for Nice to win, but if he can't nail even a single Purification Nova, there's no way he's going to be able to win the fights.
Oh, exactly, as we have a couple of lines being set up. Looks like this 4th base is going to be completely cut off here. We're going to be able to focus it down.
Nova, Nova, Nova!
Oh, Nova does connect.
Yeah, it does connect with only the edge of that army, though. There's still plenty of bio left over here for Honmono. And those Novas, those Disruptors are looking uber vulnerable. 2 of them will go down before the Nova lands. That Nova will just barely catch a somewhat split up bio army, but it looks like it might just be enough here with these reinforcing Zealots for Honmono to push this back.
Exactly, we do barely force this back in the end.
To get pushed back, so.
We do barely force Homeowner back, but he killed the base. He was able to kill one of these next side. He's getting his own 4th CC up and running at the same time as well. Economically, Homeowner, he is keeping up. Nice, still treading water here, still not with the best economy of his own. And I'm not in love with the fact that he's just going pure Disruptor here. I mean, there are still a couple of Vikings, true, but like, again, Colossi, they have their place for when it comes to consistent smash damage.
They do, but I fear that that window of opportunity has, or that window to get Colossus has kind of closed already here for Nice. If there was a moment for him to diversify his splash damage to get those Colossus, it was before that move out here from Honmono. Now that he's lost his 4th base, he just does not have the capability to switch his splash damage. He has to produce some kind of unit, or he has to wait a little while, save up to get Colossus. And yeah, with how aggressive Honmono has been throughout this entire series, I think Nice knows that he can't afford to halt production even for a second.
Yeah, and as a result, he's just relying so heavily on these Novas. And as you mentioned before, it's very high risk, high reward. If 1 or 2 good Novas connect, then Nice can win a fight. But that is really what he's relying on here when it comes to this army composition. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, Zealots do catch a couple of these units here. +2 is done. +1 armor is on the way to help out with those Zealots as well. But it feels like Homeowner is just running away with this. 4th base up and running. 5th CC on the way.
I didn't notice it until you pointed it out, but yeah, both our players definitely hurting when it comes to the armor upgrades.
Yeah, it's been all about the DPS, all about the damage that we've been able to accomplish here this game, and yeah.
Look, where we're going, we don't need no armor. You don't need to live if you can kill your opponent first. No, wait, there's definitely a better way of saying that, but you know, just kill your opponent first, you know?
There you go. Just kill them first, forehead. Just don't get hit. As we do have a big Zealot counter-attack here into the natural base, with the wall is looking solid and actually killed too many SCVs. So there's potential with this Zealot run by, and we're going to get the armory and a handful of units.
Yeah, most importantly, though, it forces Honmono all the way back home with his entire army. Very terrifying army at that. Force a recall, but with that, there is pretty much going to be nothing keeping Honmono back at home. I say that. There's another cheeky couple of Zealots getting set up right outside the 4th base of Honmono.
Yeah, we have those Zealots being set up. The main army as well, pushing towards the would-be 5th. Honmono is about to max out, though. He's on the cusp of maxing out. We do get on top of the CC. Nova's going to be going off, taking down the Widow Mine as well. But as the army has been spotted, Homeowner's pushing. He's pushing on the right-hand side. He's going straight for the new base.
Yeah, the freshest base that Nice has gotten. His 6th base, but yeah, that's not something that Tom Mono is really aware about right now. I'm sure he's thinking that it's actually a 5th base.
Yeah, does deny that Nexus in the end. Meanwhile, he has the concave, he has the high ground as well. Nice going to try and zone him away. His goal here to try to catch the army, but I don't know if he can.
Yeah, we shall see. One goes on to Purification, but that's a juicy Nova. But Homono still has a much higher armor supply.
Yeah, 1 is not enough. Not anymore. Not at this point. Not at this stage of the game. We need more juicy connections here. And it was good, don't get me wrong. At the same time, the counterattack does hit that would-be planetary, the would-be 5th base. Meanwhile, we're diving on top of the Disruptors.
Oh, Disruptor's super vulnerable. Yeah. Unfortunate here for Nice. They were kind of blocked behind the Stalkers. Blocked behind his own Stalkers. We're down to only 1 Disruptor left here for Nice. And it's off Purification over cooldown.
Yeah, 1 Disruptor remaining here, and Homeowner, he has just done far too much here. Traded too well. His economy just getting out of hand, out of control, going for a big counterattack. Liberation has arrived. We have the freedom, and we're just zoning Nice away.
Yeah, we have the freedom, but, well, rather I should say Homono has freedom.
Yeah.
Nice, he's about to get the freedom. But not in a good way.
He's about to be free, Papi, as we're stimming on forward here. Nova's going to be not going off. Good target firing. We get on top of the robot. We get on top of the production. Nice going for a base trade across the map. It's his only chance here to try to make, or to try to win this game.
Yeah, it's his last hope. There's absolutely no way he can win an army engagement, whether he fights head on or whether he comes in from an angle, even if he gets the perfect Purification Novas with the Disruptors he has remaining, which is 1 Disruptor, by the way. There's no way he can win a fight. He has to try to win through an elimination. The mass repair on the Planetary Fortress will not be enough to keep it alive, but will be enough for it to throw out a lot of damage onto the remainder of the Protoss army.
Oh my god, massive Nova here in the mineral line, and we will be able to take down another base. Homono is getting knocked down to 0 mining bases, by the way. He's got this orbital with 1 mineral patch left. Nice has an army, but Homono has, what, triple the army supply of his opponent. Oh my god, he's got a lot to work with.
He's got triple the army supply, and his opponent has absolutely 0 splash damage. Widow Mine will be going off right in the center of those Stalkers as well, just to add a little bit of insult to injury. Nice is the player with a bank. He is the player who is still mining. He can try to sneak out a ninja somewhere, but at this point...
Yeah, Nice.
At this point, Homono has so much supply, he can just send his army, split up his army to every single mining base.
Yeah,
left.
Nice. He needs production. He has over 1,000 minerals in the bank. He would love to warp in some Zealots, but the gateways are still on the way. They're being depowered. Big EMPs here on these Stalkers, and Homono, he gets on top of the Dark Shrine. He shuts it down and gets on top of the production as well, and it looks like Homono, he is looking to break in. He's looking to break the final bastion, the final base here of Nice.
Once again, absolutely 0 production remaining. It looks like Nice is trying to set up a little bit towards the north and towards the south. He's fanning out his probes, just trying to get some sort of foothold somewhere or another, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. The Novas are not going to be good enough here. Overcharge as well. We have a big EMP. GG gets called, and Homono will take this series 4-3, becoming this week's Grand Platypus Open champion.
GG. Very well played for both of our players here, but especially by Homono to come in with the complete reverse sweep after everything looked pretty shaky after game number 3. I'm not gonna lie, Light. I was getting ready with the GG button, worried that it was gonna be that complete nice sweep, but twas not to be the case. Not today, as Homono absolutely looks to be on a roll. We've had 2 series so far today of Nice versus Hanmono. Both of them going all the way to the ace match, and both of them ultimately going the way of Hanmono.
Yeah, in the way of the Terran here. And Hanmono, he was trying to spread his wings. He was trying to play against his nature in the first half of this best of 7. And then after a while, he realized, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life right now? I'm Hanmono, papi. I should just 2-base all in. That's all we need, papi. That's all we need. GG.
That's all we need. That's all he needs to do. GG. Very nicely done. You know what happened after game number 3? Do you remember that random hypo one was going to double his salary if he won the series? So, yeah, congratulations, Hanmono. You're going to win first prize today, and you're going to win double salary next month.
You know what it really was? Is that he had remembered that if he didn't win here, then Demi would take his salary.
Yep. And he just couldn't let that happen.
Could not let that happen.
He was fine. He was fine with the pay cut, but losing the pay cut, but getting his pay transferred to Demi? No way. He could not live. He would not be able to live with himself if that happened.
Could not live with himself. GG, well played again. Congratulations to Hanmono for taking the series in the end here, for claiming his GPO win, and that is GPO 99 in the books. We still have one more GPO next week. GPO 100 to really end off 2023.
Indeed. Who knows? Maybe we'll get another show match coming down. But potentially with different players.
Potentially. So we are going to be back here next week with some more GPO action. If you're curious with what the Ducklings going to be up to, we're going to be back in a couple of hours as well. When I say we, I mean I'll be back in a couple of hours with WTL. World Team League is in 2 hours time. The final day of the round robin group stage before the playoff bracket, which will be taking place next year.
Indeed, literally next year.
Yeah.
In January.
that's
in January.
That's what I said. Yeah, it's true. Like, when he says next year, he means it. Yeah. There you go.
It's not a joke.
Okay. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining.
You're welcome for clarifying what you meant.
Thank you, Aku. That's you.
That's why I'm
here. Thank you for joining me today, Aku. I know that we don't get to cast too often anymore, so you've been jumping on whenever you can, and we may even see a stream, end of your stream.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I was supposed to stream at some point. You know what? I signed an NDA.
If you guys want to,
that's what I'll say. Potentially a stream coming down. Yeah.
Oh.
Potentially a stream coming down. If that happens, it's going to be at twitch.tv/yakuzaku1. You can @ me over at twitter.com @yakuzaku1 if you're thinking like, you know what? I could really use a stream right now. You can @ me over there, or at !Discord in the chat to bring you to the Cranky Ducklings Discord server where I'm at, Light's at, everyone's at, Papi. So you can @ me at either one of those if I'm not streaming and you want me to stream, and I happen to be awake and able to stream. What about you, Live?
There you go. You can find me at Light_VIP on Twitch and Twitter. I should be streaming tomorrow. Big should on that one. For those that are curious, we will not be casting StarCraft tomorrow. We're going to be taking tomorrow as a day off here for the Cranky Ducklings for Christmas Eve. But again, we still have one more broadcast to go, and that is going to be in 2 hours' time with World Team League Round 11, Day number 3. And again, if you want to support myself, I'm going to be streaming over on Light_VIP over tomorrow for Christmas Eve. And again, happy holidays, everyone. Happy holidays. Happy end of year, and
happy Festivus.
Thanks.
For the rest of us. Everybody remember to air out your grievances in your Festivus celebrations. Get your loved ones, your friends, your family members, get them together and just tell them, you know, got a lot of problems with you people over this year.
My God.
And now you're gonna hear about them.
Let's go. Make it a year to remember, a time to remember. And yeah, again, I hope everyone had a great time here today. Bit of a shorter broadcast than normal, just because, you know, it was only one series, but it was a banger of a series, and it went the distance, went all the way to the ace match. Did love to see it, and we'll see you guys in a couple of hours with WTL. Yaku, do you have anything you want to say before we head off for the night?
I can't go that high.
Did someone die? Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you guys later.
Wave is for Terran Lord.
Big shout out to Terran Lord. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.